Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're looking at the game Whistle Mountain, a mid-weight Euro by Bezier Games, designed by Scott Caputo and Luke Laurie. Now you might have heard of Whistle Stop. I have played that game, and also one of these designers did design the 100 Tory, which I have also played. This game is a game set in the kind of Wild West frontier, whereby they've already gone out, got their gold, and now they're investing all their money into basically machines. These are machines. We have various sizes. We have got these large machines, medium machines, and small machines. Now you might think this looks a bit busy. This is because the game has just been played, and I've partially reset it just to show you something to how you set up the game and also how you can finish the game as well. It's a bit unusual. I don't tend to do it like this, so please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to check out how to set up Play and Review playlist, the AmassGames playlist, and the Family Weight playlist, amongst many others, just to see how they do differ. Do let me know. The comments are best on YouTube because this does get shared. And as I mentioned, please do share as well. And via the description on YouTube, you can check out any kind of clarifications as well as the links through to the podcast, Instagram, where you can find these pictures, as well as the discussion on Facebook and various other locations. You can also find other videos by Bezier, such as Scram, including some corrections on that one, as well as many others, again, on the channel. Just search AmassGames in Google. So in this game, yes, we're investing those profits, and basically we are looking to get various resources. We have iron and water, coal, gold, and sometimes whistles. Whistles are a wild unless a certain machine does come out. And what you're looking to do is build these machines and be the best person by the time the canyon floods. Why does a canyon flood? Because there's snow melt, and all this hot activity has melted it. And we've got lots of workers that we want to rescue. Everybody starts off with 2 workers. Now moving into the setup down the bottom here, and you will lose 5 points if any worker is left down at the bottom. And once you start building a machine above this line here, the bridge line, then it will flood and do the following like that. So this is a kind of a worker placement game. You have various boards. You happen to have a board in front of you like this. This happens to be the red player, called American Railroads. I happen to have just played as blue. Let me show you how that looks. Now I deliberately zoomed out to a position whereby everything is in shot, apart from the board, which is just in front of me. But you'll start off with 3 different sized airships docked on your board. And what they're going to be doing is going out and doing various actions. You're doing a collect action or you're doing a forge action. You start off here, so all you can do is go and collect. When they do come back, they can forge, although they can forge whilst they're still there, if that makes sense. So they don't have to be coming back to causing a forge action. You have limited space for storage, and you can go above these, but you must go down at the end of your turn. So let's talk about how you're going to play. Initially, everyone's going to take 2 scaffolding pieces matching the same location. So those are going to be stacked up. And once you've taken the first one, you take the one underneath. You can't look at the ones underneath before you've taken the first one. And you're going to place it down here. That's just to start the setup. You're going to randomize who starts, and starting with the person who's going last is going to draw a starting ability. They're all different. It's about 20 odd. And I happened to play with this one last time, so it's because I was going last, in fact. So I took that one, give one to the person who's going first. I most recently played this as a 2, but I have played this as all player counts. I'll talk to you more about my favourite player count later on. And then discard the one that you don't use, putting it back in the box. Now I'm showing you the beginner stuff. There are loads more. It's about 20 beginner and a few more in the advanced, including advanced machines, cards, and also upgrades. So on your turn, what are you going to do? Well, you can go out and collect. What that means is you can basically place this airship, or get any one of your size, over here, in which case you can get yourself a large machine, paying the costs, 3 iron and 2 coal. Over here, 3 iron to get yourself a medium-sized machine, different shape and size, but they can go in any orientation you like, as you can see. Or up the top here, you can pay a single, a small machine, paying 2 coal. Of course, if that's blocked, you're going to have to pay 3 coal. Now, I'm not using a separate microphone. That's just because there's going to create some more shadow, so I do apologise for that. Over the right-hand side, top right, you can see we have space for upgrades. This is where your board is and where you can get a maximum of 6 upgrades. I went for 3 in the last game. And what they're letting you do is you pay the cost. So let me grab one. Over here, you have a stockpile. If you have 8 or more resources at the end of your turn, you can get 2 victory points. It's also going to give you 2 victory points at the end of the game. You do need to spend 3 whistles initially to do so. So you have space up to 6 upgrades. Okay, let's talk about what else you can do. You can also go to the very top spot. There's a little notch just visible there. You can get the first card for free, or spend any resource to get 2, or any 2 resources to get 3 cards. Check out my sleeving playlist, because this has been sleeved. These are MTL sleeves on this occasion. Spend a gold to get any upgrade you like. That's a mystery upgrade. And spend it over here as and when you wish to. That can be done getting a card on the same turn you acquire a card, but you can only do one card at most, and or one rosette and one award, which I'll talk to you about in a moment. So what else can you do? You can go and build that scaffold. Over here, you're paying either one scaffold or 2 spending 1 whistle, 3 spending 2 whistles. And then that again is a collect action. You're going out and doing stuff, getting stuff. But then later on you can say forge. And I find everybody, when I've played this, I've just said, say forge out loud. Everyone goes forge. And now they're going to do a forge action on a future turn. And now they can do building actions. The first build is free. You will need water. How do you get water? Well, you can go next to a scaffold. Let me show you how that works. There. I've now got myself 1 water and 1 iron, which goes on my board because I've placed my airship next to that location. If I happen to go down here, it's going to give me 3 water and whatever else I'm next to. So let's build. So we're going to take one of our pieces of scaffold that we've got in front of us, place it, tessellate it, flip it, whatever you want to do, out on the board. If it is against anything else, which it will be, then you're going to get points depending on how many things it's next to. So if it's 1, 2, 3 sides, you'll get yourself 3 extra points. You could build a second piece of scaffolding, which again is going to give you even more points. So that is a build action, again spending extra water to do so. Once per turn, you can either send one of your workers out onto the scaffolding, as long as it isn't covering a resource, or you can spend 2 gold, one or the other, to rescue one of your workers, again chucking it any way you like on the scaffold. Why do that? Because once you've got a machine, then if you can cover the space where that happens to be, let's use this one, because you can put it sideways, over here, it gets upgraded. So it goes along, and in this case gets yourself 6 victory points at the end of the game. If you're the first person to reach a space, all of these ladder spots will have what's called a tower, a reward. You can gain that reward, spend it at the same turn or a future turn. Remember, once at most per turn. And they're worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. 2 cards are worth a victory point. Up to 4 resources are worth 1 victory point as well. And that pretty much covers off scoring. And you're going to see who scores the most. Aside from that, you do want to be aware of a couple of things. And that is, you cannot build one of these if there's no scaffolding underneath it. It doesn't matter if it's like this, that's still fine if you're building above it, as long as this is where you're building as an example. There's a lot of blocking going on, blocking for spaces. When you do forge, you will take all of your airships back. That is something to be aware of. And there's no player aids, so there will be a lot of referencing of the guidebook as well. The iconography isn't terrible, but it is something to be aware of when you are checking stuff. It does say 90 minutes to play. That's fairly accurate, especially as a 2. But it will generally, I find it does take a bit longer with more players. Once somebody has triggered the end, which is when all of these workers go, which is typically by doing this, then what's going to happen is everyone else gets 1 more turn except the person who triggered the end. And like I said, you're going to tot up and see your score. There's no Kramer track, so there's no markings around the edge like in Tickets Ride and stuff like this. They're just basically small points things here, which is fine. But I think other people did prefer it if there happened to be, I guess, something where you can see who's getting the most points and seeing who's in the lead. Like I said, there are other alternatives, other sort of special abilities you can be playing with. And there's also 1 point, probably 2 scaffolding left as well. That's pretty much it. There's loads of variety going on with those scaffolds, and also to do with the upgrades as well as special abilities. Every game is going to be playing quite differently each time. I love the artwork. I love the components. They're very, very nice. Somebody pointed out it's quite a busy board, and it'd be better if they had all the action spots on a separate board, which I completely understand. But yeah, I do love the artwork. It can be a fiddly at times. For example, these can kind of tuck under here, which can be a bit annoying too. But that's it. That has been Whistle Mountain. Thank you very much for watching, and speak to you again soon. Check out the podcast. For now, back to the table.